Hello everyone, good evening. Sorry for the initial disturbances. So, am I audible and visible properly now? Yes? Okay. So, as per yesterday, we started geometry and we already had a revision, quick revision. And today we are going to continue from there and we are going to have uh, practice, practice on geometry problems. And tomorrow we are going to have another session which will be on coordinate geometry and trigonometry. Okay, so be prepared for that. We have only one session in the name of coordinate and trigo. So if you can do some revision on your own, that would be better. Then we would be able to practice many questions. Otherwise, if we do revision, it will take some time of our session, right? So let's jump to our first question for this evening. This is the first one. Starting with the concept of circle, triangle and quadrilateral, all three including. How is geometry in XAT as compared to CAT? अतिशय almost same level, है ना, almost same level. Although in case of XAT, they include some part of coordinate geometry, trigonometry with respect to triangles. Prediction for XAT cutoff. I am not in astrology. You can check the pattern for last 4-5 years cutoff and you will get the idea. Lump sum cutoff is always same. Six is to root 3 is to 2 pi. Okay. So it says in the given figure ABCD is a square. CD is a tangent to the circle that you can see with center O at point D and DO is equal to CE. DO, which is radius R, CE is also radius R, OE is also radius R, and tangent is perpendicular to the radius. So this will be 90 degree, correct? What we can say about DC? We can say that if this is R, this is 2R, then we can find this angle, right? We can find this angle. This angle will become 30 degree. If this is theta, then we can say that sine theta is equal to perpendicular upon hypotenuse, which is equal to 1 by 2. So theta is equal to 30 degree. So what will be the side length opposite to 60 degree? It will be R root 3, right? So now if we find the ratio says find the ratio of the area of a square. Area of a square will be r root 3 whole square is to half area of the triangle DOC, half into r root 3 is to pi, and radius is r, so pi r square. So we can remove r square from each side. This will become 3 is to, this will become root 3 by 2, and this will be pi. So if you multiply this by 2, you get 6 is to r is to r root 3, right? So this will become 6 is to root 3 is to 2 pi. This is the ratio we are getting, guys, right? 6 is to root 3 is to 2 pi. Yes, that is the correct answer. Options are not given in this question, but most of the answers are correct. Aryan and Vishesh, Aritro, Avikrishna, Riti, Ritu, Muskan, Noshin. Correct answers, guys. Yes. पता नहीं क्यों वाईफाई फ्लक्चुएट कर रहा है. It should not happen. Although it's not connected to Wi-Fi, it's connected to Ethernet. So the problem is from back end only. Okay. YT issue hai. Okay, let's go to the next one. Any doubts here? Anyone, if you have any doubts here, then let me know. Batao. No doubts? Chal. Let's move on to the next question then. Try this question. So guys, this is just a reminder that I have discussed earlier this session, that tomorrow we have our only session on coordinate geometry and trigonometry. So I will advise that all of you revise those topics so that we can practice as many questions as possible. Okay. Now let's come to this question. Trapezium PQRS has sides QR parallel to PS. The diagonal PR divides the trapezium into two parts. PQR becomes an equilateral triangle and PRS becomes right angle triangle. See, so at right angle at R, so angle R 90 degree plus 60 degree, it will become 150 degree. So if the area of the triangle PQR is 30 root 3, then find the area of the trapezium in centimeter square. So we have QR is parallel to PS, right? So we can draw something like this. P, Q, R and this RS. QR is parallel to PS. Now, if we join, it says PR divides the trapezium into two parts, of course. This becomes a right angle triangle, equilateral triangle. All of these sides will be equal. PQR is a right angle, is an equilateral triangle. PRS become right angle triangle, right angle at R. So this is a right angle triangle. Then it says if the area of triangle PQR area is 30 root 3. This is given 30 root 3. Find the area of the trapezium. So what can we say here? This is 90 degree. In case of trapezium, see these two are parallel, right? If this angle is 60 degree, this angle will also be 60 degree. And as these two lines are parallel, QR is parallel to PS. Whenever you have two parallel lines, the adjacent angles are supplementary. So sum of angle P, whole angle P plus angle Q should be equal to 180 degree. So this is 60, this is 60, this must also be 60. So this becomes a 30, 60, 90 degree triangle, correct? Now if this side length is A, so what we can say that root 3 by 4 A square is equal to 30 root 3. So root 3 cancelled out. We can say A square is equal to 120, or A will be equal to 2 root 30. This is A, 2 root 30. This length PR is 2 root 30. What we need to find? We need to find this. So PR is equal to 2 root 30. So 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. If you understand this ratio, this is 30 degree. If side length is 1 here, this will become root 3 and this will become 2. So against 30 degree, this length is 2 root 30. So what we can say about SR? SR will become 2 root 30 into root 30, which will become 2 root 90. That will be 6 root 10, right? So what we can say about area of triangle? Area of triangle PSR will be equal to half into base, this base and this is height. So 2 root 30 into 6 root 10. So 2 cancelled out. This gives us 6 and 10, so 60 root 3. So 60 root 3 and 30 root 3. Total it will be 90 root 3. You can also find the height of this and you can find this length and use the formula of finding the area of trapezium. But that is not necessary. You already find this area, it's given. You can find this side, find the area of this triangle, and this is easily done. So 90 root 3. Okay. So there is a use of very basic concept that if there are two parallel lines, then adjacent angles are supplementary. Theta plus alpha is equal to 180 degree, and then 30, 60, 90 degrees triangle. That's it. Nothing more than that. है ना? Preeti, is that clear now? Paris, time of tomorrow session is same, 5 to 7 p.m. Okay. Moving on to the next question, guys. Ready? Yes? Okay, let's try this one. This is the concept that will be used here. If you were not present in yesterday class, we had a revision and we discussed this, that in any obtuse angle triangle, this is the relation between the sides we get. A square plus b square is less than c square. Of course, c will be the greatest side because theta is the greatest angle. There can only one obtuse angle in any triangle. Okay. So, it is given 20, 21 and k are the sides of a triangle where k is an integer. Find the number of obtuse angle triangles that are possible. Number of obtuse angle triangles that are possible. First of all, we find the range for k. In any triangle, what do we know? That a side is greater than the absolute difference between the other two sides and less than the sum of those two sides. So, from there we can say that k will be greater than 1 but less than 41. This is the range of k that we got. Now, in case of the greatest side, we will have to consider two different cases. Case 1, when k is greater than equal to 21, means k is the greatest side. What will happen in that case? That k square is greater than 20 square plus 21 square, or k square is greater than, this is 841, right? What is 841? It's 29 square. So, k can take all the values which is greater than 29 but less than 41, 30, 31 till 40. So, how many values? K can take 11 values. Okay. Case 2, when k is less than 21. So, in that case, what will happen? That 21, or we can say that 20 square plus k square will be less than 21 square, or k square should be less than 41. 441 minus 400. So, from there we can say k will be greater than 1 and less than, k square should be less than 41. So, k should be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5 and 6. So, how many values do we get here? We get 5 values. So, total 11 plus 5, which is equal to 16 values of k are possible. है ना? Almost everyone got correct answer except 1 or 2. Right? We don't need to write down all the values. You can just simply calculate and find the answers. Of course, question could be different. What is the sum of all the possible values of k, or what is, difference between the maximum and minimum value of k. So, ultimate question could be any different, but the concept that will be used will be same. First, you need to find the range of k here, and then 2 different cases. Okay. So, let us go to the next one, this question. This one is a good question. Map 2425, sir, why voice is very low? Use the headphone or earbuds if available. Chalo, let us see. In this question, it says in the given diagram, triangle ABC is an isosceles right angle triangle. Isosceles right angle triangle. So, AB is equal to BC, in which a rectangle is inscribed in such a way that length of rectangle is twice that of breadth. So, in case of PS, if I take this value as 2x, this value x, as it's an isosceles right angle triangle. So, these two will be, this is 90 degree, this also is 90 degree, this value is also x. Can I say RC will also x, right? RC will be x, and so SC will be root 2x. Similarly, AQ will be x and AP will be root 2x. Now, these two, PB is 2, BS will also be equal, and those will be equal to root 2x. So, root 2x, and this is also root 2x. correct? So what we can say, all the lengths are given now, right? 90 degree, 45 degree triangle, x root 2x, x root 2x. So root 2x, root 2x, 2x. That's it. So from there, it says what is the ratio of area of the rectangle to that of area of the triangle. So the ratio that we are looking for, area of rectangle 2x into x divided by, so this is nothing but root 2x into root 2x, so 2 root 2x, so half into 2 root 2x square, है ना? This is what we are looking for, correct? 2 root 2x, so this will be equal to 2x square divided by, this is 8, no, something is wrong, let me check, x root 2x area, अच्छा हाँ ट्रायंगल का एरिया बड़ा होगा ही, ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है, so this will become 4x square, so that is equal to 1 by 2. This is the ratio that we are looking for, 1:2. Okay. So only concept that is being used here apart from finding the area is if it's an isosceles right angle triangle, this value is x, this value is x, this value is x root 2. That's it, nothing else. है ना? PS is parallel to AC. Yes, we can consider PS is parallel to AC. Yes, Paris, we can consider that. But what's the use of that? उसका यूज क्या है? डबल हो जाएगा, ये 2x है, ये 4x हो जाएगा, ठीक है, अल्टीमेटली हमें करना तो पड़ ही रहा है ना? All right, done. Let's move on to the next question. Let me know if you have any doubts, okay? Chalo, let's try question number 5. But where does it say that it's a midpoint? तो हाफ डायरेक्टली नहीं आएगा ना, ऐसा कहाँ बोल रहा है कि वो मिड पॉइंट है? जो वर्टिसेस हैं P एंड S, ये तो नहीं दिया हुआ है ना कि वो मिड पॉइंट्स हैं. ओनली पैरेलल इज गिवन, करेक्ट? 25,920. Yes, that is correct. A polygon is made of vertical and horizontal lines. The sum of all the convex angles, means all the angles which are less than 180 degree, is 9,000 degrees. Find the sum of all concave angles. See, the polygon is made of something like this. Something like this. Okay. So, only vertical and horizontal lines. Some of the angles will be 90 degree, some of the angles will be 270 degrees, right. So, it says the sum of all the convex angles is 9,000 degrees. Find the sum of all concave angles, number of concave angles. Number of concave angles will be is equal to x, right. All of these angles will be 270 degree. So, what we can say, total number of, see, if sum of all convex angles is 9,000, so 9,000, number of sides will be, each convex angle will be 90 degrees, so number of sides will be 100. So, what we can say, total interior angles will be 9,000 plus 270x is equal to, what we can say, total number of sides will be 100 plus x minus 2 into 180 degree. Sum of all the interior angles is equal to n minus 2 into 180 degree. This is sum of all interior angles, right. We need to find 270x. Okay. So, what we can do, 9,000 plus 270x is equal to, this will be 98 into 180, है ना, and plus 180x. So, 180x minus plus 98 into 180. So, from there what we can say, bring it this side, 90x is equal to, so 180 into 98 minus 9,000. What we need to find? We need to find triple of that, correct. We need to find 270x. We need to find sum of all the concave angles. So, 270x will be equal to 3 times 180 into 98. Now, to simplify the calculation, can I write 180 into 50, है ना. So, क्या हो जाएगा, 3 into 180 into 48. So, that will be equal to 144, यही आ रहा है ना. So, 25,920. This will be your answer. एक बार मल्टीप्लाई कर लेंगे, 288 minus 96, 144 into 18, 18 into 4, 72, 9 and 18 plus 7, 25. Yes, we are getting the same value, correct. Figure कैसे बनाई शशांक? It's given that a polygon is made of vertical and horizontal lines. So, lines will be, all the sides will be either vertical or horizontal. Vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, like this. How do you make a figure using only vertical or horizontal lines? So, like this, है ना? The angles, all the interior angles will be either 90 degree or it will be 270 degrees. That's it. Okay, Mishika, some of these angles will be 90 degree, some of these angles will be 270 degrees. As you can see, this is 270 degree, this is 90 degree. Convex angle means angle which is less than 180 degrees. So, there are only two types of angles in this polygon. It will be either 90 degree or 270 degree. Sum of all the convex angles, means sum of all the angles of 90 degree is 9,000. Means there are 100 such vertices where 90 degree is made, where interior angle is 90 degree. There are 100 such angles. Okay, 100 such vertices where 90 degree is made, 9,000 by 90. Rest of the x vertices, the angle will be 270 degrees. So, what is the sum of all the interior angles? N minus 2 into 180. Total number of sides total number of sides is equal to total number of vertices. 100 vertices here, x here. So 100 plus x is the total number of vertices. So 100 plus x minus 2 into 180 degree. This will be the sum of all interior angles. And in other words, sum of all interior angles is 9000 for all the 90 degree angles plus 270 into x for all the reflex angles, you can say, all the concave angles. So solving this, we got the value. We need to find 270x, right? Sum of all the concave angles. Okay. कैसे पता चला angle is 270 degrees? See, if you use only vertical and horizontal lines, so they will be perpendicular to each other, right? They will be perpendicular to each other. So if this angle is 90 degree, here this angle is 90 degree. So the interior angle is 270 degrees. होगा? बताओ कि नहीं होगा? So there are only two type of interior angles here, 90 degrees and 270 degrees. That's it. Clear now? बताओ. Got it? ठीक है. देखो, there is a shortcut to this. What shortcut? We know that sum of all the exterior angle is equal to 360 degrees, right? Sum of all the exterior angle is equal to 360 degrees. So if you take exterior angle for each vertex where 90 degrees made is 90 degree, exterior angle of each vertex where 270 degrees is made as minus 90 degree, this will be plus 90 degree. So plus minus will be cancelled out. So ultimately there should be 360 degree. If you take all the plus and all the minus, the difference, sorry, the sum of these exterior angles should be 360 degrees. So 100 times 90. So this should be 96 times 90. Then only you are left with 4 times 90. That will add it up to 360. So 100 sides here, 96 sides will be here. So 96 into 270, you get directly 25920. You don't need to solve this equation. 100 plus x minus 180, 100 plus x minus 2, it should be minus 2. मिशिका minus 180 कहाँ लिया है? C minus k plus 4. Yes, Sanjana. Correct. Number of convex in exterior angle and concave exterior angle. All right. Now let's try this one. Question number 6. What's your answer? Option D. Yes, that is correct. In a right angle triangle, P and B are the perpendicular sides and H is the hypotenuse. Find the minimum value of square root of 2 into H upon B plus H upon P. This value, square root of H 1 by B plus 1 by P. This will be maximum when B is equal to P. Okay, it says find the minimum when B is equal to P, nothing else, है ना? So we take B is equal to P, and in that case, what will happen? What will be H? H will be equal to, this will become an right angle isosceles triangle, है ना? Like this. If this is x, this is x, this is x root 2. So in that case, if you take this, this will become square root of 2 and H by B will become root 2 plus root 2. And then we get root 2 into 2 root 2, that is equal to 4. You know? You can simplify this further, but there is no point to it. See, I can write H is equal to square root of B square plus P square, and then this expression will become square root of B square plus P square divided by B plus P, है ना? Then we can write it as square root of 2, and this we can, wait a second, this should be, square root of B square plus P square divided by B plus square root of B square plus P square divided by P. Further, we can expand it and we can write it, B will go up and become B square. So this will become square root of 1 plus P square plus square root of 1 plus B square. Okay. Now once again, both of these product, this will be maximum when B is equal to P, है ना? Maximizing PB, correct? Okay. Chalo, option D is the correct answer. Oh, my mistake. This should be P square by B square by P square. So these are reciprocal of each other, है ना? Chalo, let's try question number 7. नाइस, बहुत ही एक्सपर्ट लोग हैं यहाँ पे. सी, इन केस ऑफ कोन, if you make situation like this, if there is a cone, okay, and you make a parallel cut, so these two triangles that you see here, triangle A, B, C, D and E, what we can say that triangle A, B, C will be similar to triangle A, D, E, okay, and if this length is R, this length is R, this height is H and overall height is H. So what we can say that H upon H will be equal to R upon R. And that is why if you compare their volume, let's say if this value is equal to K, so what will happen if you compare their volume? So volume of the cone ABC, volume of cone ABC upon volume of cone ADE, that will be equal to 1/3 times pi into R square into H divided by 1/3 times pi into R square into H. So this will give you 1/3 pi cancelled out. This will become 1:k cube. So this volume ratio depends on the cube of these radiuses, okay, these radii. So 7, what is happening here? 7 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Each of these have same height. Each of these have same height, means this height is H, then this is also H, then this is also H, this is also H, H, H and H. But overall, if you consider each cone, the height of this cone will be 2H, the height of this cone will be 3H, height of this cone will be 4H. है ना? Radius, if this is R, this will become 2R, this will become 3R, 4R, 5R, 6R, 7R. So ratio of the volumes of these cones, if you talk about the volumes of these cones, they will be in the ratio of 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube, 4 cube, 5 cube, 6 cube and 7 cube. These ratio we are talking about regarding smallest cone, then this cone, then this one, then this one, like this. This is the ratio. But say this will be equal to 1:8 is to 27 is to 64 is to 125, then 216 and 343. But what it says, what is the ratio of the volume of smallest slide to that largest slide? See, so whenever we are talking about slice, we are talking about this part, this part, this one, this one, this one. This is what we are looking for. So what we need to do? If the first one is 1, the next one will be 8 minus 1, which is 7. Then next one, 27 minus 8, that is 19. 64 minus 27, although this is not necessary, you can find the first and last. But just to make you understand, the fourth slice volume will be 37 units. This will be 61. 216 minus 125 is 81. And 81 है ना ये, 91 है, that is 91. And this is 127. This is the ratio of volumes of these pieces, these 7 pieces. Question is the ratio of the largest, smallest slice to the largest slide, 1:127, which is option D. ठीक है? That's your answer. So in case of cone, just take the ratio and then find the actual values. Okay. All good, everyone? Tell me if you have any doubts here. Okay. Okay. Let's try the next question then, right? Option A, yes, that is correct. Trishat is asking how it is 1 by k cube. See, r upon r is k, 1 by k, so 1 by k square. H upon h is also, this is 1 by k. ठीक है, तो this will become 1 by k cube. All right. Now, very similar question, a right circular cone of height 16 centimeter stands on its base which has a diameter of 8 centimeter, which has a diameter of 8 centimeter. So, the radius will be 4. The tip of the cone is cut with a plane that is parallel to the base and 10 centimeter from the base. So, this height is 10. So, this height is equal to 6. So, the ratio of height is 6 is to 16, that means 3 is to 8. So, ratio of volume, what will be ratio of volumes of cones? A smaller cone and bigger cone, 3 cube is to 8 cube, that is 27 is to 512. So, what will be the volume of this part, volume of frustum? Volume of frustum will be equal to volume of frustum, yes, is equal to, so 512 minus 27 is equal to 485. So, this will become 485 upon 512 into volume of this cone. What will be the volume of this cone? 1 by 3 into pi r square, which is 4 square into height. This will be the volume of the bigger cone. So, if you calculate this, you are going to get approximate 254 point something. That is your answer. Okay. You can use the calculator to calculate this. You will get almost same answer. Volume of this part will become 27x. Volume of this part will become 485x. And overall the volume will become 512x. Only because the ratio of the heights is 3 to 8. Okay, Trishat. Similar concept. Mishika total volume is 512, of which this cone volume is 27. So, this part volume is 485. It says find the approximate volume of the remaining part of the cone. Remaining part means this part we are talking about. This part is removed. So, this part is 485 when whole of them is 512. All right. Yes, XAT में calculator होता है ना. फ्रस्टम वॉल्यूम का फॉर्मूला डायरेक्टली फ्रस्टम वॉल्यूम भी हम लगा सकते हैं. Okay, chalo. Let's try the next one. Now again, this also we have revised yesterday class, how to find the direct common tangent, how to find the transverse common tangent lengths using formula directly, है ना. All right, so answer is B, right? Yes, that is correct. Two distinct circles of radius 5 centimeter and 3 centimeter are there such that the distance between their centers is 10 centimeters. Find the ratio of the length of direct common tangent to the length of transverse common tangent between them. So, length of direct common tangent upon length of transverse common tangent. What is length of direct common tangent? That is equal to square root of d square minus r1 minus r2 whole square divided by square root of d square minus r1 plus r2 whole square. This is the formula for direct common tangent. This is the formula of transverse common tangent. D is the distance between the centers. This will be equal to square root of 10 square minus radius 5 and 3. So, 5 minus 3 whole square divided by square root of 10 square minus 5 plus 3 whole square. So, this gives us 100 minus 4, that is equal to square root of 96 divided by square root of, this will become 64. So, this is 36. So, basically 12, 12. So, square root of 12 we can cancel out, we can get square root of 8 upon square root of 3. So, the answer is option B. All right. ठीक है. So देखो रिवीजन का कितना फ़ायदा होता है. Now this could be a very lengthy question if you don't know the direct formula, but now as we have revised this yesterday, I can see so many correct responses only because of that. चलो let's try the next one, question number 10. लक्ष्य का इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर बताओ ना, हम लोग यहाँ क्वेश्चन डिस्कस करने के लिए हैं, है ना. टॉप कॉलेजेस, कट ऑफ, ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स यू कैन गूगल एंड फाइंड आउट द आंसर, राइट. व्हाई आर यू वेस्टिंग टाइम हियर, ये बताओ. Does it say anywhere in this video description that this is a session where you can ask regarding colleges, profile, blah blah blah? Some students are unbelievable. क्या करोगे जान के, ये बताओ. दुनिया में सबसे अमीर आदमी बिल गेट्स है, उसे जान के क्या करोगे, उसके इतना अमीर बन जाओगे. पढ़ना लिखना है नहीं, बस टाइम पास करने लोग आ जाते हैं. स्नैप एग्ज़ाम ख़त्म हो गया है, जैट की प्रिपरेशन चल रही है. इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस पूछने हो, कैट प्रिपरेशन ग्रुप है iQuanta का, गो देयर एंड पोस्ट दीज क्वेरीज. डोंट वेस्ट योर टाइम हियर, ओके. Okay, so it says find the area of the largest possible isosceles triangle such that its perimeter is 50 centimeter and all its sides have integral values. All of its sides have integral values. So in this type of situation, what we can do, first of all, if perimeter is fixed, then area will be maximum when it's an equilateral triangle, right? But as the perimeter is 50, we cannot make it an equilateral triangle. So we should try to put all the sides as close as possible, right? So in case of 50, 50 by 3 is equal to 16. So we will try to keep our side lengths close to 16. So if I take two of these sides as 16, then I am getting 16 plus 16 plus 18. Or if I take one side only 16, then rest of them will be 17 plus 17. है ना? This. You cannot take 15 plus 16 plus 19. That will be further away. है ना? So in that case, in this case, either this one or this one will give us our answer, right? If you check this one, if you try this one, you are going to get the area as 119, approximate 119. But in this case, it's an isosceles triangle. 17, 17. Draw this perpendicular. This is 8. This is 8. This will become 15. So in that case, the area will be equal to half into 16 into 15, which is equal to 120 square units. So answer is option B. है ना? Fumang, as we discussed that our side length should be as close as possible, है ना? As close as possible. Then only you get the maximum area. So whenever perimeter is fixed, the area of the triangle will be maximum when it's an equilateral triangle. But to make it equilateral triangle, all three sides should be 50 by 3, 50 by 3, 50 by 3, which are not integers. So we will try to keep all the side lengths as close as possible. If you want, you can try 15, 15, 20, but in that case, your side lengths are not closest, and in that case, the area will be further away from the maximum area. Okay. All right, chalo, let's try the next one. Question number 11. Option C, yes, that is correct. A sphere of the largest volume is inscribed in a cube. So there is a cube and a sphere is inscribed into this cube. So if this length is A, this diameter will also be A. That means 2R will be equal to A, or R will be equal to A by 2. Now if you put a cube inside this sphere, it says which has a total surface area of 24 square units. So 24 square units, what is the total surface area of a cube? It's 6A square. 6A square is equal to 24, or A will be equal to 2. So from there R will be equal to 1. Then it says now cube of largest volume is then inscribed within the sphere. So if you put a cube inside this, so what will happen in that situation? This diagonal, the body diagonal of this cube will be equal to the diameter of this sphere. So if the side length of this cube is A, so this will be A root 3, the body diagonal will be A root 3. What we can say? That A root 3 is equal to 2R. है ना? A root 3 will be equal to 2R, or A will be equal to 2 upon root 3. So we need to find the total surface area. So we need to find 6A square, that means 6 into 4 upon 3, which gives us 8 square units. So option C is the correct answer, which all of you got. Aniket, no, 84 by 11 is not correct, है ना? Not, these are in the options. The correct answer is exactly 8, option C, है ना? If you put a cube into a sphere, the body diagonal of the cube will be equal to the diameter of the sphere, है ना? So diameter is 2R, body diagonal is A root 3. So from there we get the length of side of this smaller cube, and from there we can find the total surface area. Okay, Aniket, that happens, है ना? Chalo, let's try the next one. This one is a good question. क्या आ रहा है 78 स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ 78। ओके चलो देखते हैं। In a circle, two chords PQ and RS intersect each other perpendicularly at a point T. Okay. है ना? So PQ is 16 centimeter and RS is 12 centimeter. P, Q, R and S. The angle OTS is 60 degree. Let's say somewhere the center is here. This intersection is T. Angle OTS. Angle OTS is 60 degree, where O represents the center of the circle. Then find the radius of the circle. This angle is given. This is 60 degree. Correct? Okay. How do we solve from here? See, we need to draw perpendicular because in chords and center, one thing is very interesting, that is perpendicular. If you draw the perpendicular, then what will happen? This bisect the chords. So if RS is 12, this length will become 6. This length will be X, correct? And this length will become, if I draw a perpendicular from here as well, like this, and join this. So what will happen? If this is 6, this is 60, this is 30, what we can say about this length? This is also, radius is also X here, also X here, है ना? Now if I say this length is K, against 30 degree this length is K, this length against 60 degree will be K root 3, है ना? And this length is K, as well as this length will become 8, half of PQ. So now we can compare X square. What we can say? X square will be equal to 8 square plus K square, which is same as 6 square plus K root 3 square, है ना? So from there 64 plus K square is equal to 36 plus 3K square. So from there we can say 2K square is equal to 28 or K square is equal to 14. If K square is 14, what do we know? X square is equal to 8 square plus K square, which will become 78. So X is equal to square root of 78. So that's your answer, which is option A. है ना? ऐसे ही सॉल्व किया सबने या कुछ और मेथड यूज किया है? बताओ. आज कितने क्वेश्चन करेंगे? लेट्स सी कितने कर सकते हैं. अभी तक 12 हुए हैं, 15-16 तो हो जाने चाहिए, है ना? एनी शॉर्टकट? आई डोंट नो एट दिस पॉइंट. बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल भी नहीं है ये कि हम इसमें शॉर्टकट डायरेक्टली अप्लाई कर सकें, है ना? बस एक इक्वेशन सॉल्व करनी है. वी गेट द वैल्यू ऑफ के एंड देन डायरेक्टली वी आर गेटिंग द वैल्यू ऑफ एक्स. सो सॉल्यूशन इज़ नॉट वेरी लेंदी कि हम इस पर ज़्यादा कुछ सोचें शॉर्टकट के लिए. संस्कृति, if you draw perpendicular from center to chord, it will bisect it, right? So this point, let's say this point is M. Rm will be equal to Ms because OM is perpendicular. ये हमने लास्ट क्लास में भी देखा था ये प्रॉपर्टी, that if you draw perpendicular to a chord from center, it will bisect it, or vice versa is also true. That's why it's 6 and it's 8. है ना? यस कोड बाइसेक्ट की वजह से 12/2 एंड 16/2 एज वेल, ठीक है। ओके, गॉट इट। चलो लेट्स ट्राई द नेक्स्ट वन। Option C, yes, that is correct. There is a regular hexagon of side 20 centimeter. Another regular hexagon is made by joining the midpoints of each side of this hexagon. Another hexagon is made by joining the midpoints of the second hexagon, which is continued indefinitely. Find the sum of the perimeters of all of these hexagons. The first hexagon, see, if this length is A, what will happen to that? If this length is 6 given, if I take the midpoint and I join it, this will become 3, this will become 3. This angle is 120 degree, so this will become 3 root 3. As we have learned in the last class, that in 120, 30, 30 degrees triangle, if this is 1, this is 1, this will become root 3. If this angle is 120, this angle is 30, and this angle as well is 30. So root 3 will be the side of the next one. So what's the ratio of the side length? 6 upon 3 root 3, that will be equal to, so 2 upon root 3. So each time you take a new hexagon, the side length will become 2 by root 3 of previous one. So what we can say, the sum of the perimeters, there are 6 sides, so sum will be equal to 6 times the first side length is 20, right? Sorry, this is 20 given, correct? My mistake, it's not 6, it's 20. But the concept will remain same. This is 20, this is 10, this is 10. This will become 10 root 3. This is what it says. So 6 times 20 plus 20 into 2 upon root 3, root 3 upon 2. It will become root 3 upon 2 plus 20 into root 3 upon 2 whole square, and so on. So this will be 6 into, first term is 20 divided by 1 minus root 3 by 2, which will be equal to 6 into 20 upon 2 minus root 3 into 2, which gives us 240 times divided by 2 minus root 3. Now 1 by 2 minus root 3, if you rationalize this, so this will become, you can rationalize this by 2 multiplying by 2 plus root 3. This will become 2 plus root 3. So this is basically nothing but 240 2 plus root 3 after rationalization. So the answer is option C. So one basic concept regarding hexagon and regarding this triangle, and then the sum of infinite GP. This is how you get questions in XAT. Multiple concepts from multiple topics are fused together. So you should always be ready for that, and you should be practicing like that. That's why we are discussing these type of questions where multiple concepts are used in one single question. If you guys have practiced previous year question, then you will understand that these questions are very much of previous year questions, right? Okay, if you have any doubts, then tell me, otherwise let's try the next one. Three, yes, 3 is absolutely correct. There is a property in any equilateral triangle. If you are talking about an equilateral triangle, and side length is A in an equilateral triangle. If there is a point P somewhere, and if you draw the perpendicular length from this point to all three sides, this point is P, and if you draw perpendicular length from this point P to all three sides of length x, y and z. So, what we can say, this x plus y plus z will always be equal to the height of this equilateral triangle, which is equal to a root 3 by 2. Okay? This is always true in case of equilateral triangle. Now, it says an arbitrary point P lies inside an equilateral triangle such that the length of the shortest distances of point P from three sides of the triangle is x, y and z. Find the value of xy plus yz plus zx if it is given that side of the triangle is 2 root 3. So, what we can say, x plus y plus z will be equal to root 3 by 2 into 2 root 3, which gives us 3. And x square plus y square plus z square is equal to 3 is given. Now, we need to use simple formula that x plus y plus z whole square is equal to x square plus y square plus z square plus 2 times xy plus yz plus zx. Now, put the values here. This will become 9, this will become 3 plus 2 times xy plus yz plus zx. So, from there what do we get? We want xy plus yz plus zx, and that will be equal to 3, which is nothing but option C. है ना? Okay, chalo, let's try to solve one more question quickly. That will make it 15 questions. Once again, guys, tomorrow we have a session at 5 p.m. Based on coordinate geometry and trigonometry. Okay, it would be better if you revise the concepts of coordinate geometry and trigonometry on your own, so that we can practice as many questions as possible. है ना? Target would be at least 15 to 20 questions. So be prepared. है ना? Paris last week है ना? There must be some issue with 6 p.m. That's why we have scheduled this session with at 5 p.m. Last week, last few classes. So please cooperate. है ना? I guess only for these 2 days we have session at 5 p.m. You have session Wednesday onwards, which will be on 6 p.m. onwards only. ठीक है? Only for today and tomorrow, it's 5 p.m. Yes, Aniket, that is correct. That is correct. A wire which was used to form an equilateral triangle of sides 40 centimeter. So length of the wire, what is the total length of the wire? 40 into 3, that is equal to 120, is divided into 3 parts such that the length of the longest part is 8.33% more than the second largest part. What is 8.33%? If you recognize this value, that is 1 by 12. So it will be easier for you. Part 1, part 2 and part 3. So the longest part is 8.33% more than the second longest part. If I take this as 12x, this will be 13x. 1 by 12 more than this. The shortest path is 32 centimeter less than the longest part. So this will be 13x minus 32. So sum of these, as the wire is same, 13x plus 12x plus 13x minus 32 should be equal to 120, or 26, 38x is equal to 152, or x is equal to 4. If x is equal to 4, these lengths that we are talking about will be 52, 48, and this will be 20. So if you check the ratio is 13 is to 12 is to 5, which makes it a right angle triangle. 13 is to 12 is to 5. What did I say in the last class? Whenever all 3 sides are given for a triangle, you must check the ratio. Most of the time you will find that it's a right angle triangle. So what will be the area? Area will be equal to half into 48 into 20. That is equal to 480 centimeter square. Answer is option A. ठीक है? Triplets. Yes. है ना? Okay, any doubts here? If you have any doubts, then let me know. ये गलतियां जमशेदपुर से झाझर ले जाती हैं, सही बात है. जमशेदपुर से बोकारो भी ले जाएंगी. जहाँ शायद कोई भी कॉलेज नहीं है. Okay guys, so that's it for today. Okay, tomorrow we will continue from here at 5 p.m. with coordinate geometry and trigonometry questions. All right, so be ready for that. Thank you for joining us today. Bye bye, good night, and keep practicing.